Hello, creators, and welcome to Rediscovering Be Something Wonderful, where we revisit timeless classics from deep within our video archives. You've been doing everything right, imagining, affirming, and persisting in the state of wish fulfilled. And yet your desires still seem just out of reach. What if the problem has never been your persistence? What if you've simply been persisting in the experience of waiting? In this video, you'll rediscover one of the most liberating truths about conscious creation: that the wish fulfilled is never something you experience in time. It is who you choose to be right now. The moment fulfillment becomes your lived experience, waiting disappears, and your world begins reflecting the completeness that you've been seeking all along. Now, let's rediscover the extraordinary simplicity of consciously creating the life of your wildest dreams. Welcome back to Be Something Wonderful. I had a session with a client that I hadn't talked to now for a few months. Last night we talked, and she reminded me what our initial session was about. At the time, she was on a break from her ex-boyfriend for about 8 months. But she said about 6 months into it, 2 months prior, she wanted to manifest or imagine that they were back together, but on terms where they both wanted the same things. The reason she said that they took the break was because they had been dating for about a year, and she just wanted to know where it was going to go, if it was going to get more serious, and he just wasn't sure. So they both decided, well, let's take a break so we're both sure. So of course, so 6 months into it, she decides, well, I want to manifest it, but I want to manifest it on where we both want the same thing. And so she said, Tom, I've been persisting in my wish fulfilled for 2 months, but nothing is happening. How long do I have to persist in wish fulfilled until this happens, until I see it in 3D reality? So we had talked about that. And she reminded me that at the time, she was even feeling a little guilty of wanting that as a desire, right? That it seemed like to her, people were telling her it's kind of a petty wish, or won't you work on things that help others or something like that. And so I wanted to talk about this today, guys, and more. So last night, she told me they actually did get back together, and in a very unlikely way, right? They were in the same city. It's a big city, so they would never normally see each other unless they planned on it. And it turns out they were both going through the airport. Their flights were delayed, and so they got together and started talking. And now they're seeing each other again. And she's unsure now. They're still talking about where it's going to go. But for sure they're together. But that's really not what she wanted to talk to me. That's pretty cool in terms of that. And we had talked about the idea that when she was persisting in time. Right? She was imagining a wish fulfilled, but she was doing it from a point that she was trying to maintain the state of wish fulfilled long enough in linear time in hopes that it will manifest. In fact, she was waiting. And she even mentioned when I first talked to her that she was, I'm patient, I'm waiting, I'm imagining my wish fulfilled, nothing's happening. And at the time I talked to her about fulfillment is beyond linear time. Right? Persistence is not about waiting for something to happen in a state of wish, trying to hold a state of wish fulfilled long enough, or imagine that you're together long enough in hopes that something will happen in linear time. That keeps you in a state of waiting where you need patience. Right? Fulfillment is beyond linear time. It's beyond time and space. Persistence is about making your state of wish fulfilled, a new inner reality, a natural part of your state of being, that new version of yourself. You're rising in consciousness. This is what Jesus, greater is he who is in you than he who is in the world. Right? You're going to rise to that greater I am and manifest it. But that wasn't the big deal for her on the call. What was the big deal for her? That she realized, and I had talked to her about this, that there is no small desires or big desires, ego desires or heart's desires. All those are just judgments, right? There's something to a heart's desire for sure. But you can desire, remember, all desire comes from that longing of your longing to know yourself as source, a longing to know yourself as God, right? That's what it comes from. But are you desiring your wish fulfilled from a state of lack and attachment? Or are you desiring your state of wish fulfilled from a state of love, right? That's really what we were talking about here. That's the difference, right? Because if you believe that desire, somehow you're feeling guilty about it, then you're desiring it from a state of lack and attachment to it, versus a state of love and a state of wonder, a state of longing to know yourself as source. Because behind all desires, whether you think they're petty or big or small or good or bad, those are all just judgments. All desires come from the desire, the longing to know yourself as source. So she was not only waiting in linear time, right, imagining a wish fulfilled. She was seeing her desire as a state of lack, as something that she needed. She was seeing it as an attachment, versus from a state of love, from a state of wonder, from a state of longing to know yourself as that higher you. That's why fulfillment's beyond linear time. So when you do manifest something like she did, she said the big thing about it was that I felt that source within me. I felt my power as I am. Think of this. That's what it's all about. Greater is he who is in you than he who's in the world. Let's cover this, guys. So there she was, right? Imagining a wish fulfilled, waiting in time, right? But feeling the lack of it, right? Feeling the attachment to it, because she thinks, how long do I have to do this till I get what I want? Versus imagining from the now, from fulfillment, right? Imagining that state where you're not you're in the state of wish fulfilled. You're imagining it from that. You're persisting in that. You're persisting in fulfillment and not waiting in linear time, right? It's in the now moment, right? It's in that I am moment, in that fulfillment, the here and now. This is what Neville Goddard says: make elsewhere here in the future now. Now, in a dimensionally larger world, is equivalent to the here in the ordinary three-dimensional space of everyday life. That's powerful. So I just want to say, guys, it's not about waiting in a state long enough, or persistence isn't about persisting in a state of wish fulfilled long enough in linear time, recognizing linear time, having patience and waiting for it until it manifests in 3D reality. Fulfillment is beyond time and space. It's beyond linear time. It's about making your state of wish fulfilled in your new inner reality a natural part of your state of being. That's what happened to her. She felt that natural I amness. It wasn't such a big deal, the manifestation, although it was cool that they met in the airport, that their flights were delayed. She felt that greater fulfillment in the now moment. That I am, the here and now, what Neville Goddard was talking about, making the elsewhere here and the future now. Wow, that's big. So you're not in the world. You're not in linear time. Remember, the world in linear time is in you, right? So that's what you get stuck in. You feel the lack. You feel the attachment because you feel like that you're in the world and that you're in linear time, but they are within you. Right? I'm not of this world. That's what Jesus said in John 8:23. Creating your own reality, manifesting your desires, occupying the state of wish fulfilled begins and ends in the end. That's what persistence is. It's going to the end and staying there, right? Persisting in that state of wish fulfilled, right? That's what we mean by persistence. It's not waiting for something in linear time to happen. Right? Beginning at the end makes linear time irrelevant. Waiting, wanting, patience makes no sense. That's the opposite of fulfillment, right? It's the opposite. So remember, life happens in the now. Past, present, and future are all in the now moment. Waiting and believing you have to be patient pulls you out of the now, right? Where you're stuck in the illusionary past waiting for something to happen in the illusionary future. That's what she was. She was not in the now moment where God is, where I am is, where her wish fulfilled is. She was in the past, imagining, waiting, having patience for something to happen, right? Waiting is resistance. I've talked about this in many videos, but what is it resistance to? It's resistance to the now moment. It's resistance. You feel somehow that the present moment should be different than it is. So this means you're stuck in the past. Wow, that's big, right? Waiting in patience is not a state of wish fulfilled. An unwanted state is not a state of wish fulfilled. A negative can never equal a positive. But if you say this, if you're saying, well, if I wait, in other words, if I wait X and I'm patient Y, then I will manifest my wish fulfilled Z. You're saying X plus Y equals Z, but X plus Y, meaning waiting and patience, can never equal fulfillment. It can never happen. That's what you're implying, though, when you're waiting in time, when you're looking to that outer world. That's so big. So, how long do I have to persist, imagine, affirm, and visualize? That's not the question. That's like that you're saying that persisting, imagining, and affirming and visualizing is a means to some end. Instead, enjoy all of that. Instead, enjoy it as an end in itself. In and of itself, that's the end. Right? That imaginal act, that persisting, that affirming is the end you're going for. Because when you say, how long do I have to imagine my wish fulfilled? How long do I have to persist in it? What it sounds like you're saying is, how long do I have to appreciate, be grateful, and forgive to manifest my desire? It sounds crazy when you word it like that. Hear this. How long do I have to appreciate and be grateful for what is until I get what I want? Appreciation, gratitude, forgiveness is the end. It's not a means to an end, right? The inner experience of gratitude, appreciation, conviction, and fulfillment is the only manifestation that matters. Why? What's the paradox? That's the paradox. The paradox is when that's the only thing that matters, everything else is added on to you. Right? Now that longing to know yourself as source is appreciation, is gratitude, is forgiveness, it is the end. Make that your end, right? Judge not according to appearances means judge reality by what you sow, not by what you reap. I've pointed this out in a few videos now, right? It's not judging by appearances. Judge not by appearances means don't judge reality by what you reap, but by what you sow, your inner state. So big. So take a stand in fulfillment, right? When you assume it, when you declare it, when you occupy it, when you claim it within, it's done. It's real. You are in Barbados, right? You have dropped the seed in that divine soil. Within that seed of your desire and intention is the plan of fulfillment in 3D. All that is needed for it to bloom and grow to full manifestation in 3D is in it. There's nothing else you need to do. Hold on to nothing. Right? Let God now, infinite intelligence, do the rest. Waiting for it, though, wanting it, needing the seed to grow or the seed to be something makes no sense. Let all that go and create an opening for God. Right? It's like saying you need the seed to grow. You want the seed to grow. You're waiting for the seed to grow. None of that makes sense. It's in God's hands, right? Leave an opening for God. Drop all that other stuff so God can pass the ball to you, right? That's what persisting in fulfillment, that's how persisting in fulfillment manifests miracles. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of Higher Consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification button, like and share our videos. That's how we get our message out. You can follow us on Facebook at Be Something Wonderful. We have a group called the Be Something Wonderful Ambassadors. That's an open group. Anybody can join. It's where you can share insights and guidance with others and success stories. More and more are joining. That's at facebook.com/groups/Be Something Wonderful. You can also join us on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Kearin, or just visit our website anytime at tomkearin.com or besomethingwonderful.com for more information and for all the information and more. Until next time, creators, with great love, with great light, and infinite gratitude, this is Tom. See you soon.